Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. Great to have you with us for another week. Well, grocers across the country making final adjustments ahead of new VAT rates taking effect tomorrow. Then the new rates mean to bring economic relief to struggling Bahamians. Tonight, our Corville Pyfrom takes a look at how businesses and residents are bracing for the change.
And so tonight, I am pleased to announce a 50% reduction in the VAT rate on all food sold in food stores. Beginning April 1st, the rate will be cut in half from 10% to 5%.
Prime Minister Philip Davis earlier this year announcing that in a bid to reduce the cost of living on residents as a result of rising inflation and an uncertain economy, a slash in the rate of VAT on certain food items sold in food stores this spring. And with mere hours to go before the new rates kick in, stores all across the country are making their final preparations ahead of tomorrow's deadline. Senator Randy Roll, who heads the Consumer Protection Commission, has been visiting stores on both Abaco and Grand Bahama.
Now, any store that sells grocery items, the large food stores, the smaller food stores in the service station where Bahamians pay VAT, these are the stores where you can expect to see the impact on this VAT reduction. So once a store charges VAT, then certainly these are the stores that are impacted.
Back here in the capital, Super Value President Deborah Simonet and Kai Kai Tong from Central Food Fair both say their establishments are ready and will be fully compliant with the new adjustment.
We've been preparing for a while now so that when the 5% kicks in, our point of sale system will automatically be able to generate the new prices for the 5% at the register.
It's going to benefit the consumer. It's a comprehensive list. It's unprepared food and, it includes, what we use every day.
The euphoria of reduced prices felt by both merchants and customers.
We are over-the-hill community, right? It's always, the basics. So it's pretty steady. And we keep our prices at, consistent with, the community in the area. And so, the deals.
I'd like to see what's going on now, I mean, we could swim now, I could swim from here to Cat Island now, VAT going down, praise God for that.
The new VAT reduction rate takes effect tomorrow. It impacts food sold in food stores. This includes baby food, frozen food, fresh produce, and snacks. It does not, however, include already cooked food and food sold at the deli sections of these stores. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corville Pyfrom.
So that you have it tomorrow morning, beginning crack of dawn, April 1st. It will not be April Fool's Day. It will be actually VAT reduction day. And so you can expect at the polls, you can expect at the food stores, there's going to be a reduction in prices. And of course, obviously, the government is hoping that this will have a positive impact on them. So you hear where it's at. It's going to be on items that you buy in the grocery store. Not cooked items, not food items, not other items, not gas stations, unless you're buying stuff from inside the gas station. But it's going to definitely be interesting to see the reduction and whether or not Bahamians will get those savings. And we're hoping they do get the savings. We're hoping stores pass those savings on to Bahamians because that's the whole point of this exercise, to allow Bahamians to have a little more spend in their pocket. And so obviously, you should see the difference, right? And that means there can't be no markups that are necessary. Things that you paid a certain price for ought to be cheaper going forward. So those of you who do that intense shopping in the grocery store where you compare prices, you know the difference. Those who have not been paying attention and ignoring the prices, then you have to guess whether or not you got your savings. But don't be afraid to ask. You are entitled to those savings, and it's designed to be able to bring you some relief in your pockets come tomorrow. Well, over in Rocktown, Eleuthera, owner of the market at the marketplace, Thomas Sands, and his team were busy today preparing for tomorrow's new tax rate. Mr. Sands, who is also the president of the Eleuthera Chamber of Commerce, feels that although food prices may be going down, actual cost of food will still remain high. He's optimistic the new rate will make a difference in the business community in Eleuthera.
I think that Bahamians welcome it. We were a little bit concerned how complicated it would be because you're now talking about in a supermarket various line items, and in the grocery business you're talking about thousands of items, right? And so some of these things may sound easy, but they are more complicated to implement, especially if people don't have as sophisticated software.
Well, let's hope that's no excuse for store owners, right? Because they've had since January, when it was announced by the Prime Minister, till now, to be able to make sure that transition happened. So I think while we have some sympathy because it's a tedious task, Bahamians are hoping to see the reduction. And there should be nothing to stop that from happening. Well, tonight, a major step forward in disaster preparedness for Abaco. After years of delays, the island's long-awaited hurricane shelter in Central Pines is nearing completion. Our Devontae Hannah has the latest ahead of the 2025 hurricane season.
It's a project that's been years in the making, and now the state-of-the-art hurricane shelter in Central Pines, Abaco, is set to open this year.
I expect this to be open before or in time for the hurricane season, which means that it should be complete by the end of May.
Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis confirmed this much following a tour of the facility on Friday. The shelter's cost during the groundbreaking in December 2020 was pegged at $1.4 million, but has since mushroomed to $4 million due to several delays and structural issues. The final budget yet to be revealed.
With the onslaught of climate change and how we are having so many hurricanes each year, the intensity of those hurricanes, I don't know that I could concern myself that we are spending too much money to get a result such as this.
The Prime Minister says at the moment the cost is not a concern of his. This as he says the shelter will double as a community centre once completed.
The concern is to ensure that lives are safe and livelihoods are protected.
As he toured the facility, Mr. Davis revealed he is pleased to see the work already done.
Bahamians are building this, and I'm always proud to see the product of our Bahamian ingenuity and skill.
For the Bombers Tonight, I'm Devontae Hannah.
Thanks a lot, Devontae. And that's important to have, right? It's been a work in progress. It took some time, some challenges, some setbacks, but it's coming to fruition, and it's going to help so many people. It is going to provide much-needed protection for people in the event of storms. We've been gracious, and thank God we're all praying again that for the last few years, no major storm has impacted the Bahamas. And while there's been some impact from some storms, nothing major, and it's given us some relief so people can rebuild and build back smarter and better. And so we're hoping that the same thing will happen in this hurricane season, that we will be spared. But if we're not, we need to at least be prepared. And it's important that we have these shelters in place so that people have someplace that they can go to where there is safety, shelters that can withstand the enormous winds that we have been seeing thanks to climate change of recent. And so these shelters are going to provide much needed relief. They're going to also provide an opportunity for people to house things there as well. But it's needed. It's a necessity, and it needs to happen throughout the country. Of course, you know, these things are expensive. It's an expensive undertaking. It doesn't just happen by the clicking your fingers. It takes resources, and it takes planning, and it takes lots of planning before you can execute. So thankfully, they'll be able to get through with this one. All right, well, we're going to a break. When we come back tonight, we're talking about what people have dubbed the biggest concert of the year with promoters. And of course, first up though, I don't like how you always treating my boy, Julian Believe, this weekend. I have a problem with that. I'm going to talk to Julian. He's here. Julian and I are going to have a good sit down. Maybe we'll get a do-over. I don't know. We'll see what happens. The rundown is back on the ZNS Network. Right after this. Stay close.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exuma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching our young young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that to be passed along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
Entrepreneurs, are the high costs of banking services making it harder for you to grow your business? The SBDC's Business Blueprint is back with all the information you'll need to get your business finances right and on track. So join us when we sit down with Fidelity Bank and Trust International's Group CEO, Goran Bo, to discuss securing funding, managing banking fees, and alternative lending options. Plus, get his top-notch financial advice for long-term business success. Only on the SBDC's Business Blueprint, Monday, March 31st at 9 p.m. on ZNS TV 13, because only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back to the Rundown. A special good night to all of you watching in the I'm going to say Situation Room, watching in the Lion's Den. It's good to have you all with us. And then, of course, those of you watching on YouTube, on our various platforms, wherever you're watching from Turks and Caicos Islands, on your platforms in the Caribbean, around the world, here at home. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. Welcome to the show. Well, he hit the stage on one of the biggest concert nights of the year. Now he's here on the Rundown to share his experience. Bahamian artist Julian Believe is at the center of a viral moment after clips from his performance at the Evolution of Vibes concert made the rounds on social media, showing an, quote, unresponsive crowd. But behind the memes and mixed reviews is a real artist with a real story. Please welcome to the Rundown our Bahamian artist, our sensation, Julian Believe. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Listen, Julian, I don't care what nobody, then put my notes down. You my boy, you represent us all over the world, and I will forever support you. And I will ever say thank you for what you have done. I know the work that you're doing to help other artists, record in the studio, the collaborations you've done, the work you've done. I know as an gospel artist, the amount of times we spend perfecting our craft. And not every performance is a hit moment. A lot of them have different responses, different results. And truth be told, many other artists probably had the same response somewhere else, but nobody was there to record it to make it go viral. So it's not like this is an isolated case to only you. Other artists have days where people respond, days when they don't. However, I will chastise you. Yeah, mad at me and go on social media all you want. I will chastise my people, because I always say, especially if you're in a company of foreign people who push in their artists and their names. I don't care if you like the voice, I don't care if they hot, I don't care if they hitting the right note. Because they represent the 242, you go like you going crazy for them. We cannot give all our energy to secular artists and to people who we love, and then to our people who are representing our country. We don't know how to show appreciation and just go along with it. And everybody have all the reason, oh, maybe it's the wrong genre of music, maybe it's the wrong type of event. All these things, it doesn't matter. You went on the stage representing the 242, and for love of country. I mean, we see it all the time with Jamaicans. I hate to call them, but it's the reality. No matter what happens, they support their whatever area code is, 876, whatever it is, they support their people, and we as Bahamians have to learn to just support our own. If we don't support our own, how we expect other people to support him? That Bible scripture is correct when it said a prophet is not honored in his own hometown. That's in the Bible, and it's so unfortunate. But enough of me talking. I didn't chastise, and they probably come for me tomorrow on it. Too bad. How you feel?
You know, this is show business. This is what we sign in for. It's good days and you have bad days. The only thing that really concerned me, and I want to first and foremost say thank you to all of the persons who've been showing their love, the telephone calls, the texts, the shares, persons defending me and my brand. I want my people to realize something. First of all, I'm a proud Bahamian artist. I will not stop. I will keep pushing. I will keep ensuring that one day Bahamian music stays on a global stage, even if it's through another artist in the near future.
Wow.
I didn't look at it as an attack on me, you know. One of the things that really concerned me was it was an attack on our culture. And you're saying to me, in my hometown, in our hometown, because of the type of artists that they are, we should not allow our culture to be displayed? on such a big stage where the world is watching. And so even if you had an issue with me, no problem. But don't stop that next kid who is in Eva Hilton School who wants to be a singer from wanting to be an artist.
And perform in his own town.
Right. Because what they did, see, you got to look at this message that they sent to the world. And the reason why I commend the promoters and I thank them for giving the artists who shared the stage with me and myself an opportunity. This wasn't just about Vibes coming here to the Bahamas to perform for us. This was about showing the world who was watching the Bahamas that we have talent that can cross over into the international market. And so that concerned me a whole lot. I was okay with the clip. I sung, I was on key, and that performance is a performance I do all the time. Less than 24 hours later, I had a performance at John Watlin's and the crowd went crazy. And so just you have these moments in show business, but it doesn't stop me from loving my people. I heard the concerns, I heard the challenges that a lot of persons have with my brand. I take it, and I'm growing and I'm learning, and I'm here at the end of the day letting people know I'm not going to give up on this dream. You know, I'm going to keep going.
A lot of our audience may not have gone to the Vibes concert or been on social media or in that circle even if something happened. So just so people who are watching have an understanding, and they're probably like, well, what happened? So the clip circulated of Julian walking onto the stage, opening and doing his song, trying to get the crowd hype, and they just stood there and stared, didn't respond, didn't get into the music, just numb, just stayed there and just stared at his performance. And people obviously sent that clip viral, saying that there was no response from the crowd to his performance. What it felt like on stage? What does it feel like on stage when that's happening?
Honestly?
Were you even aware that they weren't responding?
I couldn't see. Lights was in my face. So I couldn't really see, like, and you know, whenever you perform at home, I don't care how popular of an artist you are, how long you've been singing, performing for Bahamians, buddy.
It's a tough crowd, I can tell you.
That's like a new, every performance is like a new audition.
It's a tough crowd.
Doesn't matter how good you were yesterday or how popular your song was in the past. And that's not just for local artists. International artists have the same experience and challenges.
It's a tough crowd, yeah.
I always pray before I go and I perform. And I always aim to do my best. And I did my best that day. And I was happy with what I performed. If you listen to the clip, you hear the vocals, everything was on point.
Some people tried it saying that you came out and you went into Creole at the beginning of your song, and they felt that as a Bahamian artist, you should have been representing the Bahamas. What do you say to that?
Why do we always have to segregate people that live in our country? If we're going to have that stance, see, that goes so deep, right? Because it's always us criticizing one another and not us embracing and celebrating one another. We complain about, oh, my boss is a foreigner, when a Bahamian has the ability to be, have this position. But then you will go to that same person and complain that your Bahamian brother and sister ain't doing the job as good as XYZ. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love Haitian people. I love Jamaican people. So do them. And that's why they supported the Vibes concert. So don't complain and knock me for using words in my music. It's I appreciate cultures and I make music. I am a Bahamian artist, but my music is for the world to enjoy. I do not feel like we give our artists credit, the Bahamian, for what they did. God rest his soul, Elon Moxie, who I wish we would just put a little bit more love and care into on social media. You know, Johnny Kemps and the likes of the KBs, our legends. We have to do more to celebrate and empower them while they can still smell the roses. We're losing a lot of our cultural legends, and that's because there's a lack of appreciation for our culture. You know, and at the end of the day, you don't have to like me, but don't do the culture an injustice and say that we do not deserve to be on a platform that sits in the fort where we have our Independence Parade.
How do you personally handle the public criticism when it comes on internet trolling?
Man,
you know, it's something.
Man, America have cancel culture. Bahamas, we have get off culture. Bahamian ministers don't really mean nothing by it. You know, when they see you in the streets, it still be all love. But in this case, I just think I had to ensure that my brothers and sisters know that, hey man, I got to stand for Bahamian music and Bahamian culture. We have a problem. We got a little disconnect here. The world is watching. We got to get this music and culture to the world. People love Junkanoo. And Bahamians got really excited when they saw Vibes tripping out to our own music. That was the point where people should say, you know what? Don't say we shouldn't have Bahamian music or culture on the stage. The man going crazy for the culture, for the Junkanoo. And any platform, any stage, by law in this country, I'm very proud that the government of the Bahamas and the Musicians Union have ensured that no foreign artist comes into this town without making a Bahamian artist on it. We fought for it for many years. Now that you have Bahamian artists on the stage, you want to complain?
What is your response normally like when you perform overseas?
Boy.
And I know this answer because I've seen your videos overseas.
The love is super strong because people love the Bahamas. People love Bahamians. And a lot of us don't see our artists outside of the country to know the high level of appreciation. And for me, one of the reasons why I was recommended to do that show is because I have a collaboration with Beanie Man. Julian, believe name, is in the Caribbean circuit, doing best of the best in the U.S. all of these years. People are familiar with my brand. So the recommendation came from foreign to have me on the show.
Wow.
Which is funny because the foreign people shouldn't tell the local people which Bahamian artists should be on the show. But a lot of persons, and I've seen on social media, have tried to discredit my work and discredit my contribution to Bahamian music and culture. And the reason why, for the first time, I decided to stand up for it is because I'm not going to let you tell my story.
Right.
And the problem is, we're not telling our stories enough. And I want to encourage Bahamian artists to continue to stand up for our music and our culture and tell your story. And I want to celebrate Elon, Moxie, or Andres tonight for the rest of this week. We've got to do more to appreciate our cultural legends. You don't have to like me, but respect the culture.
Wow. You know, and I was about to ask you, are you planning on addressing it at any other level?
This is it.
You so serious? It's supposed to have serious. I'm saying you're so serious.
I am busy.
You're gonna put it in the song. You're gonna write about it. You're gonna talk about it.
I'm busy. I have more shows, international shows that I've prepared for. I have a family. I have two beautiful little girls. I don't have time to focus on these things that's not creating any positive contributions to the Bahamian music or Bahamian culture. I'm only interested in progress. You want to sit online and talk? No problem. I hear you. I appreciate the criticisms, the jokes, but I laugh at some of them. The meme, what they got with me saying, do me a favor, boy, we need to keep that running. You understand what I'm saying? I might do something with that, because that's nice. That's nice. But like, for real, we got a bigger problem here, boy. We got to support our artists, boy. They dying. They dying. Let's celebrate them. Let's embrace them. Let's make, you know what? You know what's crazy? The young children scared to do our culture. They scared to do our music. They running away from this because of what they're seeing happening to the persons who they're looking up to. And I am afraid for that. That is what concerns me and what bothers me. You could talk about me, you could stand up, and you know, and I didn't even think that was hate, you know. It was just the tone and the mood of the event. And if to be honest, as a performer, you know this. If Bahamians standing up watching you, but that mean they like you.
It intense, yeah.
Yeah, because you know how we go, but we'll go to the bar, we'll get busy intentionally. And so I never looked at it as a problem. The fellow who was recording the video, who intentionally only showed that little part, instead of showing the entire video, he saw an opportunity, and I hope he get the likes and views and the follows that he wants off his page. You know what I mean? I really do.
Yeah.
Because that was a good moment for him. And I'm grateful again for the support, the commentary from the Bahamian public. I still love my people. Them people is mine. You know what I mean? And it's all good. So now let's go and share some more Bahamian music. Since we're so patriotic about it now and Vibes is gone to the next show,
What next, right?
Yeah, let's celebrate the legends. Let's make sure we do our part to give the culture the forward that it deserves.
So let me ask you, what is next for you? What do you have on the drawing board?
I got a next single with KB. And then I got that new song, Whip, Wap, Whip, Wap. People going crazy for that, though. I don't know why the fella didn't show the video. And the people watching people whip, wap, whip, wap. Listen, that's the newest song out. Julian Believe featuring Johnny Cake, Shine, and KB. Listen, Bahamas. Go wherever you listen and watch Bahamian music or music period and type in Whip Wap by Julian Believe. I assure you're gonna love that song because it's a vibe, it's a bop. That's what people running through in the streets now. So I know these people talking about. Let's love this culture. I love the culture so much because I see what happens with it overseas.
Yeah.
You step outside and you see how people respond to New York, LA, Chicago. I'm going to Minnesota in a couple of weeks.
Minnesota?
Minnesota for the culture. For the culture. And so I've never stood out, I've never spoken up on my beliefs, but I'm at a point in my life where I'm seeing too many young kids sing other genres of music and not their birthright, not Bahamian.
Well, you know, before I even let you go, I kind of have to ask, what is this? What do you think it is? Because, like we said, you do well internationally. When you go out of this country, you are received. People respond to you. People love you. You're considered an ambassador for us and our music. And then you come here at home, and then there's this.
No, I don't know what this is. This like I don't know what this is. It's like COVID. It's like one of them things that people just get infected with. They get sick, and then they bounce back like in a week because we got like 500,000 views collectively on the Whip Wap video. It only been out less than 2 weeks.
Wow.
That's historic for a Bahamian artist song, especially in this day and age. And so the shows that the love and the support was still there. It's just sometimes you have these moments. It's like a marriage, eh? You have good days, you have bad days, but that's still my wife, and I'm gonna stay committed, and I can still bring her flowers at the end of the day and make sure cook her a nice meal. That's why I'm here. And I born, I bred, and I got dead Bahamian.
And has it changed your views towards the Bahamian people?
How could I? Not because I'm a Bahamian, mean people should love me as an artist.
I know.
But you can't let the foreigner come here and show all the foreigner love and don't get your Bahamian brother love.
Yeah.
I born in PMH too. You know what I mean? So I like conch salad and, you know, I do wheat, peas, and rice, macaroni, coleslaw, potato salad, and all that I get regatta too. So at the end of the day, this does not change my sentiment. In fact, I love my Bahamian people more because what they did is they created a platform for me. And because they talked about it so much, Julian Believe was trending in the Bahamas, and people across the world had an opportunity to see. And so what happened over the last 2 days is a lot of the foreigners who were in the crowd, in the front, who'd never heard Bahamian music or Bahamian culture before, reached out to me via YouTube. Hey, heard the song from the Vibes Cartel show. Great job, liked it. And you know what I mean? And then the record companies that came here and that were watching. It was really a great opportunity. And so I'm very grateful. You know, I didn't think that, boy, they would have thought but me more than Vibes after the show. I was grateful. You know what I'm saying?
People in this business, listen, man, it doesn't matter what kind of news it is. It's good publicity is publicity.
Yes, but I just want to say this. For the promoters that stuck their necks on the line, for Bobo Ken, Wendy, and myself, we will be forever indebted to you, and we're grateful for you. And to the Bahamian people who are not afraid and who are not ashamed to celebrate us and sing and bop and dance, because this we things, we are forever grateful. To the persons who supported me online, who shared, and who commented to ensure that the persons trying to chastise the culture didn't do so, I'm forever grateful. And to the Bahamians who had their criticism, I hear you, I accept your criticism, and I'm gonna work towards doing better if I can and learning, and I'm still gonna represent this country that I love.
I think that's a high road.
It is what it is.
And I appreciate it. And the fact that you are so in love with your country and your culture is what's the dominant message there. And if more of us who call ourselves Bahamians and true Bahamians, and we don't like everything else that ain't Bahamian, if we were to love our country in this manner, we would, and honestly, go further than we are today and just criticizing and pulling down and ripping apart and tearing apart. That's what I've been saying to so many people. It's a problem in our country. There is a time for everything, but we have to understand understand when there is a time to stand together as one, despite who it is. They represent our country, and we say, yes, that's our country. That's our country, and nothing else should matter. If Julian Believe got on the stage of the Grammy Awards, I don't think anybody should be there complaining, saying, man, I like that song Julian sing. Where he coming from? People say, no, that's the Bahamas. They gonna be, if you're in that audience, you're gonna wave that Bahamian flag. That's our boy. And I think that is what needs to happen on a regular basis.
You know how that's gonna happen? See, we've never had a Bob Marley before.
Yeah.
So we don't know how to appreciate one. The only way to create the change is to be the change. Let's start supporting the artists so that they can get on the international stages, so they can get the love that puts the brands out there the way that we do in sports, the way we do in track and field and baseball and basketball. You create the support, the high-level investment will come, the opportunity overseas will come. We're still at the beginning stages of this because we've never had a high-level investment into arts and entertainment. We had it with Carnival, then we lost it because the artists didn't quite understand the platform and didn't prepare themselves the way that we thought we were, you know? So at the end of the day, the love, the support, the shares, the likes, the streams, these are gonna help propel Bahamian music and culture back to the world. That's my 5 cents, my 10 cents, and my dollar.
Julian Believe, thank you. Always a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have me here, my brother.
Thank you, man, and continue to keep it going.
242 to the world.
Man, we support you. We're behind you 100%. Stay with us. When we come back, he talked about the promoters. Well, the promoters here. We're going to talk to him about the concert, what worked, what didn't work. I hear some people buying tickets out of a bus who already had tickets online. We'll let him explain. We'll have to explain that. We're going to talk to the promoter of the Vibes Cartel concert right after the break. You're watching The Rundown. We're back after this. Stay close.
I was an electrician for 18 years, and one day I just lost my sight and found that I was in a totally new world. I just found this strength that came from nowhere, and here I am today. Even though I am faced with disabilities, the fire in me, it never went out as related to me being an entrepreneur. But the barrier is just people being understanding and willing to take a chance on somebody like myself. My dream is to see where the government can really pass laws, legislation to assist people like myself. And whether you believe it or not, we do have something to offer this country. We have to make people understand that we are here. And not in many cases we looking for handout. We want to make a contribution. You gotta live. And part of living is that you gotta take charge of your life. And through programs like this with the SBDC, I know for a fact that my business can now come to life.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
The news seems easy, but we put thought into what we're doing. The Bahamas Tonight Access Now, here to inform, educate, and entertain. A new type of newscast featuring social media trends, news from around the islands, interviews with the people you like in our communities, sports, weather, and fabulous entertainment. That's a Bahamas Tonight Access Now with Marlena Leonard and LaDon Davis. 7:30, Monday to Friday. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. It was one of the most talked about concerts in recent memory. Evolution of Vibes pulled a massive crowd, brought high energy, and featured some of dancehall's biggest names, including dubbed the king and queen of dancehall, Vibes Cartel and Spice. While the stage was hot, the logistics, we're told, were not as hot. From ticketing, confusion to long wait times at the bar, many attendees described the night as chaotic behind the scenes. So what really happened, and did it really go that way? Well, tonight we go straight to the source. Tom, many of you know him as Terrible T from back in the day, Tom Butler from International Events Promotions, joins me now to break down the good, the bad, and the future. Not the ugly, the future. Tom, welcome to the broadcast. Good to have you back here again.
Well, welcome, Clint.
Congratulations, first of all, in putting off a successful event. From all indications, nobody lost their life out there. That's always a good. No fight. That's amazing for a concert that's hyped and attracts young people. Congratulations on that. How would you dub the event on Saturday night?
Well, first of all, the event was a huge success. And a huge success in terms of what it brought to the table. Like, for instance, the tourists. We had hundreds of tourists that came for the first time visiting the Bahamas that came just because of...
How about that, actually? Did people actually come to the Bahamas for this concert?
Yes, they came to the Bahamas for concert, and we know this by... We had a Vibes Code at the Hilton Resort, and also at Margaritaville, and also at Breezes.
Wow.
So all of those folks who bought their code, they bought their rooms and they put in their code, so that's how we track who came for the show.
And British Colonial, you mean British Colonial, because it used to be Hilton.
Yes.
People obviously came out, and of course, I can tell you right off the top, I hear people talking about how great he was on stage, how well he performed. He went for about an hour, gave people, it took away whatever sorrow they had, it took them away. It took it away. Were you surprised that he gave so much out there on that stage, or did you expect him to do just that?
No, I expected him to do that. And to be honest with you, I think that's one of his best performances of his lifetime.
Wow.
Right there. I mean, the old cartel was great, but I think that dub, because if you saw his, the performance was even better than Jamaica Freedom Street.
Wow.
It was better than Tortola. So we got the best of vibes. And
why do you think so? Why do you think you got the best? Why the Bahamas?
Well, I wouldn't knock anything on Jamaica, but coming out and it being his first show, you know, he probably had a little jitters and
trying to find his
rhythm, you know what I mean? And, you know, Tortola, you know, well, I wouldn't say anything with Tortola. Tortola was a great show, but I think his MC interacted with him a lot, so he didn't get to perform as he would like to, you know what I mean? But the Bahamas, so he learned from those two, so when he came here to the Bahamas, it was just vibes.
Good performance. All right, so let's talk about, people talking about the fact that they had to, those who bought tickets online, said they had to go to a buster, I guess, to redeem those tickets, have it signed, and so forth. There was two lines, those buying tickets the first time and those trying. What happened with this whole operation?
Well, we fell down on some of the logistics, I'd admit that. So what happened is the entrance, it was, and the scanning of the tickets.
Right.
And they had the entrance at the last point, what I guess the logistics team thought would have been perfect wasn't. And so that caused a bulge at the door between the bus and that's what caused it, because everyone who had a ticket still had to get it scanned to get a ban. So they end up on the same line as the persons who were paying, and it was a little logistical delay.
So you learn from it. You learn from things you know how to improve for next time around.
See, the thing is, you could always be prepared and still not prepared. Because when you look at you may be expecting this amount of people, and then when I look out in the crowd, I was like, wow, these people love vibes.
They came out to support.
They came out, you know, so we tried our best, and, you know, there's a few things that happen along the way, and, you know, we got our notebook and we'll take our bashing for whatever went on, and we have some makeup for some people.
Devontae complained that he couldn't get enough drinks on time. They were running low on drinks. Is what happened there? People just drinking too much? Is that what it was?
They were drinking.
It was tasty.
They were drinking a lot, and just that they were drinking a lot, and also the bar. We had 4 huge bars, but like I said, you could always be prepared and still not prepared. Because
those people came out to buy the products.
Yes, they came out, you know what I mean? And so it was a lot of trying to replenish the bar, to keep up with the crowd, replenish the bar, to keep up with the crowd. And that was it, because we had 4 working bars, 2 backstage, 2 in front. And so it's a lot of moving parts. You know, we could have used another 20 more hands.
Wow.
So I think we were short-staffed.
Obviously, putting on a concert of this magnitude takes a lot of work, a lot of planning and logistics. Anything in the pipeline to do more?
Yeah, we're gonna do more, and like I told the person, like, feel the vibes weekend. That was really the sell for the entire weekend, and we're getting a lot of calls from the folks who traveled over, and they were like, "Are you going to do something next year?"
Right.
But now the plan is to do it, but artists have to be on a big magnitude as Cartel. Either if Cartel is still doing shows or somebody at that caliber, somebody big. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Let me ask you, because obviously you heard talking to Julian tonight. Mm-hmm. What's your take on what happened out there? Did you even know that night what happened, or you must have been busy, or did you hear about it after the fact?
I heard about it after the fact because I was doing every part of the job that it was to do. But the thing is, let's start out first with Julian. I love Julian music. You know, everybody may not love Julian music. Everybody may not love Vibes music. Right. Some people came for the experience. Some may have come for Spice. Some came for Vibe. Some may have come for the vibes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But when we booked the show, you know, with the music union, we have to have local artists.
That's a requirement.
That's a requirement. It's mandatory. And I've worked with Julian in the U.S. I've worked with Julian on stage with Beanie Man. So he's done music with reggae artists. I've had Julian on Best of the Best. And, you know, they're saying he was out of touch with the genre of music. That's not so. For about 5 to 6 years, I paid out of my pocket to take Bahamian artists to Best of the Best. Like, wow. I paid the airfare, the hotel, transportation per diem. I had D-Mac on Best of, and that's a full reggae Caribbean show.
Wow.
I had D-Mac on Best of the Best.
Really?
Know? Yes, I had D-Mac on Best of the Best a few years. I had Sosa Man, I had Julian Believe, I had Wendy on Best of the Best, I had Dyson on Best of the Best.
Wow.
All of them at one point was on Best of the Best, and which is a predominantly reggae show.
And what's the response when they get on stage?
The response was awesome. They loved it. You know, I think the clip with Julian was just a part of the clip because I'm sure there were movement, you know, so that was a viral moment for
He was
somebody.
just getting on stage, just getting things warmed up there at the event. So, of course, that's what happened. People just starting up looking around at the beginning of the show, trying to get themselves in
Yes.
some kind of vein.
Yes, you know, and, you know how social media go. Yeah.
What do you want to say to Bahamians? Obviously, people look for opportunities to have these events so that they can have somewhere to go in the Bahamas. We're a tourist attraction, but yet people look for things to happen and go on. What do you want to say to Bahamians about the importance of supporting these kind of events so we can see more of them?
Well, what I'd like to do, I would not mind collaborating with other promoters. You know, I mean, the more the merrier, because, you know, different promoters would have different expertise. This might be a promoter who may have something that I missed, you know what I mean? And so I think teamwork always makes the dream work, you know what I mean? So I'm open for criticism, I'm open for help, because everybody don't get it right all the time, you know what I mean? I mean, I get it right most of the time. But be honest with you, I think it's a great thing, and I think travel, tourism is a big thing.
It is.
And that's what I'm really trying to focus on. This is just the start of what I really want to do, because remember back in the days, the Turks and Caicos had their music festival where people, then you have the Sun Fest, then you have the Jazz Fest, and all that stuff. So we don't have anything like that here for the Bahamas, where people can come say, they love the Bahamas already, but why they come for a weekend of concert and events? Because the weekend was awesome. Like the pre-party at Pompey Square, huge crowd. Concert, huge crowd. And yesterday, Breeze's Beach.
I was going to ask you, the beach party, how did that go?
Huge crowd. Everybody in bikini, like Vibe said.
They listen to him. We're going to take our final break and we'll come up and wrap up. wrap up after the break. Stay close.
We're here at the Nassau Village Community Center project, where over the past 17 months, we've hired over 20 Bahamian subcontractors to bring this beautiful project to fruition.
I've been living in Nassau Village for more than 19 years, and to see a project like this bring great joy and pride to me.
This state-of-the-art multi-purpose community center will serve as a crime-fighting initiative in the community. Also help with the education of our kids in this community and a hurricane shelter.
Yeah, and it also shows what we as Bahamians can achieve when we work hand in hand with each other.
We have the technical know-how, and we can pretty much deliver on any project here in the Bahamas or in the world.
Bahamas Stripe and the Bahamian company, they prove that they believe in Bahamians.
Based on the outcome of this project, I don't think they're disappointed in giving a small person an opportunity to do a job such as this.
The more opportunity they get, the more opportunity we will get.
If you look around and see the work done so far, it just shows what we as Bahamians can do.
Let's go.
At Frame Studio, as soon as you enter the door, we showcase any individual that comes in there and make it feel like they are at home. The space itself is 1,800 square foot. Our site wall, which is industry standard also, is 24 feet wide. You can do anything that you can possibly think of. At Frame Studio, under our theme, Now Create More, we look at Frame Studio as a canvas. And any artist know a canvas is blank, and then you create whatever you want to do, right? So we have where you could rent tools. We even have workstations that people could rent out. To anyone inspiring to do what I've done, or what my colleagues have done, or any other journey, I would say to you, don't be afraid. The worst someone can actually tell you is no. So if you have a vision, you have an idea, not everyone will get it. But if you believe in your vision, you believe in your idea, I say go wholeheartedly at it.
For more information about the Creative Entrepreneurs Initiative and the Crafting the Bahamas workshops, email info@sbdcbahamas.com or call us at 461-7232.
Welcome back. We're doing a recap on the big concert over the weekend of Vibes Cartel. Earlier we had Julian Believe, and now we're talking to the promoter about the success, what worked, what didn't work in our final 5 minutes on the show. But let me ask you, were there any pushbacks when you decided you wanted to bring him? Because people would have figured there had been a lot of legal pushbacks or a lot of pushback. Did you have any of that when you decided that this is what we were going to bring?
Yeah, the first couple of months was just a lot of pushback.
Really?
I mean, and from every area. I mean, to be honest with you, what I try to portray and to let everybody know, this isn't the same vibes then as now. So I've spoken with persons in the Christian community, the music union. I've just spoken with regular people. You know, the immigration, the unions. It was a lot. You know what I mean? Wow. But you know, when they realized that, you know, the vibes is definitely vibes, they gave us a chance. We made some calls, and we had to sit in a few different rooms. We had meetings on top of meetings. Wow. To get this cleared, that cleared. You know, the police force, they wanted to show. No, they did a great job. You know what I mean? And there was not one fight, nothing. I saw something online, they're going to have this, they're going to have that. No, there was nothing like that at the event. So the event went flawless. Everybody enjoyed it. In terms of the execution of the event, yeah, some things went wrong. Some of our VIP guests, you know, we have some making up to do for you, and we're going to get to you, you know what I mean? You know, skyboxes and stuff, we're going to get to them. But overall, the show was a huge success and a huge impact in the economy from the travel in from abroad and from the family.
I'm going to get to the economy part of it, because I want to close out with that. But how did you rope in Spice? That seemed to be like a perfect combination, vibes and Spice together. How were you able to get her on that ticket?
Well, to be honest with you, we always wanted Spice, Popcorn, and Vibes. Those are the three prominent ones. But Popcorn is at a peak now where he does his own show. Right. He's not Popcorn on the Vibes no more. Right. Popcorn gets big money for shows and sell out arena. So if Popcorn comes for a show, he want to do his show. Now Spice, she gets big money too. But Spice, since he's been out, they haven't been like on a show. She just made a cameo in Jamaica. So now she came here for a private party for a football player, and you know we spoke with her for a little, and we tell her, man, Spice, you gotta make it. She said, but you know what, this would be like, we wanted a cameo, and Spice said, no, I'm not taking it unless it's a full show. So we were like, okay, a full show it is, and then we closed with her, and when we told him, he got excited, she's excited, because now this is the first time both of them together doing a full show since he's been out.
They seem, from what I saw, the clips and so what, they seem to have had a ball.
Yeah, their chemistry is from old time, you know, they same area they grew up in, everything.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
I said I wanted to close on this. I think this is probably with the greatest impacts, and that is the economic impact. Talk about how many how many areas people were touched in to benefit from having this project here on this weekend.
Well, the economic impact was huge because, first of all, flights into the Bahamas, rooms, the Hilton was full.
British Colonial. I keep on correcting them.
British Colonial.
They get at me when I call them Hilton, so I got to make sure they get their props.
Margaritaville completely sold out.
Wow.
Because they were like most of our host hotel. That's where he stayed. And then Breezes had a package, a real reasonable package for two that folks took advantage of too. And so that, along with rental cars, a lot of rental cars, SUVs, you know, beauty salons, barber shop, clothing stores. It trickled down and down and down. Everybody got about, even because after every event we did every night, folks went to after parties, different places, and so it trickled down. So we weren't the only one making money. Money was going all across the board.
As you look back and reflect, is it a bit of satisfaction that we did a good weekend, we were successful at it, people were happy? Do you feel that sense of satisfaction?
Yes, I feel that sense of satisfaction. And, I mean, I've been doing shows for years, but to actually pull this one off, this was like a milestone for me. You know, this one was historic. This one's for the book. You know, despite the little kinks, this one was for the book. And if you ask anybody about the vibes, concert experience in terms of the performance and all that, as you watch online, they say 1,000 out of 10. 1,000 out of 1,000. And,
I've been hearing.
And that's what I felt with it too, you know.
So the big question is, what's next?
Well, I got something huge into next year outside of this, but maybe in another month or two, I will be able to announce it, and it's going to make the whole Bahamas proud.
Wow.
The entire Bahamas. And I mean, and every sphere of society, not just the young. Bahamas on the whole.
Across the section?
Across the section.
Wow. Well, definitely, Tom, congratulations. Excellent work, and keep it up, man. Keep doing well. Thank you again for coming on the Rundown and giving us an update and letting us know how things went. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right, and that does it for the Rundown for all of us here. Listen, make sure you'll stay locked into the ZNS network for the Bahamas tonight at 11. It's the final newscast in the country with the latest news and information with Royston Jones. He's in the building somewhere around here. And Devontae sitting over there mad. They talk about how drunk he was. For all of us here at ZNS, I'm Clint Watson. Thanks so much for joining us. Please, have a great night.